What happens when you combine the concept of hi-fi rush and roguelites like Hades, Returnal, or Spiritfall? That's where Beat Slayer comes in. Beat Slayer, which is published and developed by Byterockers games, the meshing of roguelites and rhythm combat. Set in a dystopian 90s inspired Berlin, take control of Mia, the old badass music lover who's also very crafty. Beyond crazy battles as she fights off against basically a robot army. With a crew of friends by her side, they help Mia rescue her little brother, who is captured by an evil corporation that has seized control with its hypnotic sound waves. He tries to save the world one beat at a time. Thank you to Byte Rockers for providing me a code for the game. Now, with that being said, this is my full and honest opinion. I first played this at PAX East back in March, and this game caught my eye. I played it, and it immediately got me hooked and wanting more. Fast forward to launch, and I was excited to play. Not losing items and keeping progress, finding out how the other weapons functioned or what other zone environments look like. Like in Hades, you delve into procedurally generated dungeons, clearing out enemies area by area, but this time, the music is part of the gameplay. Dodging, attacking, using special skills on beat feels so cool and unique. Best part about that is when you do, combat count goes up, and in return, the higher the count, the more damage you do. Rather, the more extra damage you do. A small little thing that made me really happy is once you reach 20-time combo, the beat starts to pick up, and once you drop the combo, it dies. So basically, you start the music as normal, and once you hit a certain number in the combo, the beat starts to pick up and the music gets sicker. Headphones are a must when playing this game, especially when the bass kicks in. It's a bit of a learning curve, and if you're musically inclined, they have assistance if you need help. Combat itself is kind of basic, but what makes it feel different are the weapons. Start off with an axe, and as you progress into the game, you unlock more. I won't go into detail or spoil anyone on others, but let's just say I found my personal top tier. Each weapon has a different attack pattern and special attack as well. Weapons aren't the only thing. That's where skills comes in. Whether you have poison, fire, lightning, or defense skills that make a difference. The fact that some skills work amazing with other, for example, lightning and poison, which poison is referred to virus in this. Your basic attacks are infused with lightning and shock other enemies. If you have a certain virus skill, when you enter Tanzarok, enemies die and they explode and affect virus or poison to others around it. So it gets pretty hectic with skill combos. And speaking of Tanzarok, that is the mode when you reach a combo of 20 and he gives you a damage buff. The higher the number, the better the buff. While the combat is indeed fun, this game does lack one thing. Dungeons are a bit bland. Now, don't get me wrong, they look decent, but I feel like they could be a bit better. Some are just empty, while others feel lively, looking at you second zone with the cards. This game sometimes feels very repetitive, and this is mostly due to the lackluster dungeon designs and uninspired robot looks. Going back to the combat for 1 second, the bosses are different in every way. The first one is a mole that attacks and burrows and goes underground. Then the next is a snake looking one, and I feel like that is the worst one, just because it takes a bit too long. Beat Slayer's story is simple and the characters are interesting, but unfortunately, they really don't get a chance to develop as much as I would like to. DJ has some bars as he talks to Mia, and the guy at the bar is cool peeps. Mia's one-liners, though, give me a chuckle sometimes, and the wordplay that she does is taken right out of some popular movies and songs, like Eminem's Without Me.
This looks like a job for me.
With that being said, I give this a sharp 7.5 out of 10, and here's why. Combat is good. Skills meld together very well. Music is great. 80s inspired. Unique bosses. And great characters. But on the other hand, some frame drops on the bosses. Story is okay. Tanzarok is lost randomly at times. And bland dungeon for the most part. Despite some off notes, this game is definitely worth nodding your head to. With the mix of Hades and Hi-Fi Rush that mesh together so well, the combat is high-key too good. with characters that you would enjoy and might make you laugh, to the banger of a soundtrack that will leave you jamming and dancing. Beat Slayer definitely strikes the chord.